Hello, all sentient beings, and welcome to the Transmissions Podcast, where we talk all Hasbro, Takara, and third party. Transformers! This week, we talk about the new Buzzworthy Silverstreak, a masterpiece crosscut, and we possibly get our first look at Rise of the Beast figures. Today is Wednesday, March 23rd, 2022, and this is episode 478 of Transmissions.
Welcome to Transmissions, the podcast that apparently lets its host moonlight on other podcasts now. I'm your host, Charles, aka Big C, and I'm joined by the excellent Transmissions team. Jeremy, aka Yakko.
Hey, how's it going?
Creator, producer, and star of Empire of Rust, editor Mike.
Listen, no one's asking me to be on someone else's podcast, so I'm feeling left out here.
And Daryl, the Cybertronian Beast.
We asked you to be on this one all the time.
Oh, damn. Oh, damn.
Let's talk Transformers.
As always, we start off the show by thanking our Donatreons, those lovely people who support us on Patreon and PayPal. Thank you all so much for continuing to help us make this show possible. We really appreciate it, and it helps keep us going. Of course, if you are a Donatron, you do get some perks. One among them is getting entered into our monthly Toy Hacks drawings. Those are cool. And you get access to the early bonus uncut versions of the Empire of Rust podcast episodes. And that is our Transformers Live Play RPG podcast, run by our very own Mike, who's right here with us.
Hello.
And this week, we have Empire of Rust episode 72, Downfall of a Droid. And this is exclusive to our Donatron. So you're getting the bonus uncut version this week. And then next week, we will have the regular episode out in the main feed for everyone to listen to. So Donatrons get it a week early. They get to hear all the outtakes, all the good stuff that was left on the cutting room floor. And they get to hear all the spoilers ahead of time. Just don't spoil it for everyone else. So this just came out Monday, March 21st, should be available on our Patreon page if you are a Donatron. And then next week, we'll have the regular episode at transmissionspodcast.com/rust. So Mike, how are things going with our heroes in Empire of Rust? Are they having a good time? It seems like they're always facing adversity.
I'm glad you asked, though. It's been a really great time so far, and we have just finished up the second chapter of season 2. We just finished recording that very recently, so we're going to be moving on to chapter 3. We're actually getting into a little bit more like political stuff happening on Cybertron, and it's going to be some good stuff. We do go over the questions from the survey results, but because of the delay, like the release delay, I don't think we're going to be getting to them until I want to say April, like midway through April or so. But for everyone who answered the survey results for Empire of Rust, we do talk about it, and we do bring that up at the beginning of one of the shows. So thank you for everyone that did that, and thank you all for responding and for listening. So we certainly appreciate that. One other quick little announcement that I can do, and I'm sure Charles will announce this as it gets a bit closer, but the second of the special sessions that we did with the Transmissions crew is going to be coming out onto the free feed in mid-April or so. There will be an announcement on the Empire of Rust feed, and as I said, I'm sure Charles will announce it on the show as well. But that will be coming up pretty soon, so April's going to be a big month for Empire of Rust.
No fooling.
Yes, it's a little Easter treat for everyone to get the second Transmissions crossover Empire of Rust event. So everyone look forward to that. All right. Well, Daryl, you've been doing some special activities outside of Transmissions. You were on the Geekcast radio podcast network their All Things Transformers show. Actually just came out this week. So what were you doing on there?
Well, yeah, the host Mike, he contacted me and asked me to come on and sit down for an interview. I guess he's got this series called Origins, and he wanted to just kind of talk to me about me. And
you're uniquely qualified to do that.
I'm very happy to discuss me and all things me. So yes.
So I mean, when we're talking about Origins,
I'm very humble.
How far back do the origins go? Like, is it from like sperm meeting egg, or is it?
Oh my! Well, I did not. I didn't have to get any kind of research from my mother about any of that. So no, it was just kind of how I got into Transformers and that kind of stuff. But I guess the host Mike was very interested in discussing a certain aspect of my Transformers knowledge and fandom, and I'll leave it mostly for everyone to kind of listen to, because we do it. He goes after it, and I don't blame him for it. But he seemed very concerned with my #1 Beast Wars fan status. So he was very interested to discuss that title that I have given myself, and
you bought for yourself,
and that's right. And so we discussed that, and so we dove deep into that, and it was a fun chat. I enjoyed myself, and it's it was interesting being on the other side of the questions. So there's a good chance that the rest of us, Jeremy and Charles and Mike and we'll all be maybe hitting this Origin series at some point in the next little while. So I know the invitations have been sent out, but so give it a listen, and I expect nothing but the most honest people to kind of throw some shade at me because of my #1 Beast Wars status. But to that I say, bring it, because I paid good money for that title, and I'll take it. I'll take all the shit.
I think we do need to clarify one thing, though, is that you're the #1 Beast Wars fan on Transmissions podcast. You're not the #1 Beast Wars fan across the entire Transformers fandom.
That's right.
Other people have bought that same toy that you got that status.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of other fans out there that I would say are much bigger Beast Wars fans than I, but on Transmissions there is no bigger.
So Daryl, I have a clarifying question to ask. How much did your title cost?
Oh, probably about $250.
Really? That's it. That's a pretty cheap title.
I know. That's why I'm surprised I still have it.
Oh boy.
I have $250 lying around. I wonder if I could be the biggest Beast Wars fan.
You totally could. It's easily taken from me. Just somebody has to want it bad enough.
Charles and I just
apparently
don't care
Jeremy
about
and Charles just don't want it.
We don't care about
you want it, Mike.
We don't care about the G1 Beast War toys as much as you do.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't drop that much on like an original Rhino DVD set. It just
Right.
All right. Well, I was also on another podcast. Actually, it had nothing to do with Transformers. So I was actually interviewed on the Interface podcast, and this is by the Pros website. They're actually a tech consulting website, and they wanted to talk to me about my career in technology and how it intersected with culture in general. So a little bit different. So, we'll give you the link if you want to listen. Enjoy. It's also kind of an Origins podcast for me, but
I was going to say, you want to talk about Origins. Yours is way more of an origin than mine is.
Yeah, and Daryl and I learned so much about you that we didn't know. We've been doing this every week for 8+ years.
Yeah.
Like your hatred of hockey. Who knew?
But yeah, so enjoy, everyone.
I learned your middle name.
Charles has a middle name?
I know. It's crazy.
Maybe there's too much information on that podcast.
He gave out his social security number.
and his mother's maiden name. I mean, that's just
nuts.
All right, maybe it's time to talk about some Transformers toys.
All right, and first up this week, I figured I'd talk about some mainline stuff because I very rarely, choose a mainline figure. And, this week we got, it started off with a leak, and then, then we got some in-hand images as it hit U.S. retail. So we got our first looks at Buzzworthy Bumblebee Deluxe Silverstreak. And this thing here, I don't believe anybody really knew it was coming, but it's the Datsun mold, the Earthrise Datsun mold, but in the blue streak colors. They're calling it Silverstreak, but it's the blue with the silver streak on the top. And man, it looks really good. So I'm not generally one to, buy these, re-releases of the Buzzworthy Bumblebee stuff, but I gotta say, this paint scheme, it always pops. And yeah, I think I'm probably going to be getting this. I don't want to belabor the point too much, but Mike, let's jump to you. What do you think here? Buzzworthy Bumblebee Silverstreak. What do you think?
Yeah, right. I get to go first. This is pretty awesome. Usually I get last. I do like it. It is going to be a pass for me because I didn't bother going in for Blue Streak or Smokescreen when it came out. I got Prowl as part of that Ironhide and Prowl 2-pack, and I like it and everything. Mm-hmm. But I haven't gone in on the Datsun brothers really hard, so it is cool looking. And this might actually be one of the first like blue streaks we've had in a very, very long time. So yeah, it's certainly an interesting piece. If I did pick it up, it would certainly be an impulse buy, like at a con, if I didn't find anything else. But yeah, it's an interesting piece. Not for me, but I like it. Looks cool.
Right on. Charles, Datsuns, that's what Nissans were called back when you bought your first car, right? So what are your thoughts on Silverstreak here?
This Buzzworthy Bumblebee line just keeps having me scratch my head. I mean, I like the figure. It's a very nice looking figure. I like the color scheme. It's just funny to me that this is since G1, but it's funny to me that the gray car is Blue Streak and the blue car is Silverstreak. And I'm like, okay, guys, that's fine, I guess. But yeah, it's a nice mold. I don't think I bought any of the Datsun brothers in the Earthrise or Kingdom line or Siege line. So I don't know. Maybe I'll pick this one up. Maybe they finally got me with this one. I don't know. I think this will be, if anything, this will be an impulse buy if I see it in Target. If I don't see it, I probably will not pick it up. I will not search for this one. I will not pay twice the retail price at a con if I see it at a con.
Yeah, you do have a trend of doing that, Charles.
At least the Origins Bumblebee was an original mold. It was not a repaint of an existing mold.
No, that's true. All right. And Jeremy, you are one who generally, doesn't go to the retail releases of figures, but tends to be drawn to these misfit, releases that get put out by selects or whatnot. And this will be a retail release, but it's still one of those misfit, color schemes, because it's a kind of like a Diaclone, color scheme, but not really, but it is. And, what are your thoughts on Blue Streak here?
I really like it. I think I always like the color of this with the blue and the silver. And it just always works so well together. And I don't think I have the Prowl mold, so I likely would hunt this down and try to get it, just because the Datsun mold in general, traditionally, I don't think there's been a bad version, like going back to G1. It's always been a fun mold to mess with. And I think the Earthrise mold is no difference. It's a great version of it. I continue to question with the Buzzworthy line. This is now Buzzworthy Bumblebee Transformers Legacy Autobot Silverstreak. I mean, this line, they throw in every single label they can. It's like they're trying to get like SEO online, where someone just like pads the title of an article or something. It's just they're putting everything they can into this. But I mean, it's a good mold, and I'm looking forward to seeing one and getting it.
Mm-hmm. So just before I pass on, I'm just putting in the Discord chat here, and just a quick shout out to our Discord. If you're not part of our Discord and you're listening to this, just join. You can always follow along, with the show as it's being recorded, or just kind of check it out after the fact. I'm putting in here a gallery to the Masterpiece MP18B Blue Streak, and you can check that out here. This is likely the last mainline release of Blue Streak, and this color scheme is just gorgeous. So do with it what you will. Obviously, if there's people out there that are like Mike and Charles that are just pass on it because they don't know what they're looking at and they suck, then it leaves more for us out there. You got to hope there's more people out there that are like Charles and Mike that just don't want this, so that the rest of us can buy it.
If I saw it in the store, I would probably buy it.
I didn't.
I don't. You got to pre-order this stuff, man. You got to show that. You got to show Hasbro, Big Daddy Hasbro, that you want it. You want more of this stuff.
Wow.
You're not wrong.
But either way, I'm not. No. But either way, it's a really great color scheme. The only problem that I see with the Blue Streak is like the Buzzworthy Bumblebee one is the blue on it isn't like a metallic blue. It's just like a plasticky blue, right?
Yeah.
Whereas some of the subsequent releases, the previous releases, the Masterpiece one has really got this metallic kind of automotive paint blue, and that really does make a difference. So where this Buzzworthy one does have the kind of the color palette, the right shade of blue, it's missing that kind of metal flake that the automotive color has.
That really works with the silver really well, like the kind of the metallic look of the blue.
Yeah. So, that's something, a premium you're going to get when you buy a Masterpiece figure as opposed to a mainline release. And that's the only kind of downside of this. And I don't have this MP18B, this Masterpiece Blue Streak. I'd love to get one just to have it kind of sitting there as a beautiful kind of model car. But it's one of those ones that I'll pick up if I can find it somewhere.
You have the Prowl version of that
that's
mold?
Oh yeah. I have all three of the Datsun brothers in this mold. It's one
great.
of those. It's a fantastic Masterpiece mold. It's so well designed. Yeah. But that's it. That's all I have to talk about this week. Jeremy, what do you got?
I have, because Rise of the Beast has been pushed back another year and there were already toys in the pipeline. I have some images here that were likely going to be Rise of the Beast toys, but are now likely going to end up, it looks like maybe the Cyberverse line. These are geared towards younger kids, and There's an Optimus Prime and Optimus Primal and Tigatron figure here. And these, I mean, they're very simple transformations for younger hands, but you get to see particularly like the alt mode of Optimus Prime is a more kind of military styled truck, and some people have lined that up with a vehicle we know is in Rise of the Beasts, and it's just pretty clear between these two characters that that's what it's going to be. And then Optimus Primal comes with Tigatron, who is much smaller and turns into a weapon, which it looks very painful if you were Tigatron to be turned into this weapon. But it's a very classic looking Optimus Primal look, completely devoid of color. I don't know if that's because of the way that these figures were acquired or what, or maybe just because it's a movie figure and movie figures have no color. But for the level of complexity that these toys are, which is very simple, it's a really good looking beast mode and robot mode for Optimus Primal. And he has like the head is spot on for the character with like the split faceplate with the mouth in it. And I think that these are going to be, pretty good toys for the younger set, but also just, it gives me a lot of confidence going into the movie that some of the Beast characters are going to be done really well. Optimus Prime is an Optimus Prime toy. We've gotten so many of those, and this is just another simple Optimus Prime toy, but I do like the look of this kind of more militaristic cargo truck that he is. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Bulkhead from Transformers Prime, just a little bit, but it's a good looking alt mode. So let's see what you guys think. Charles, start with you. What are your thoughts on these guys?
Well, I agree with Optimus Primal. I think that is a really good representation of Optimus Primal. If the movie design is along these lines, I will be happy with how he's designed in the movie. I mean, I can imagine the CG model for the movie just being a, kind of a more detailed, upscaled version of this and it looking really nice. Although I can't say the same for the Optimus Prime design. Like at least the vehicle mode to me, I agree with you that it does remind me of Bulkhead. Also the Hound from, what was that, Last Night?
Yeah.
And I don't like that. I want, I like the traditional, cab and trailer Optimus Prime. I don't want a military, ATV vehicle or something like that. So, I mean, of course, yeah, I'm not gonna poo-poo the movie just based on these two figures, and I imagine Optimus Prime will probably change his movie design several times throughout the film, or maybe
you gotta have the option for more toys.
Yeah. But but for me personally, this design doesn't work for me, but I do really like the Optimus Primal design. I think that's well done. Of course, both these toys are more the kid. They're the simplistic kids toys. So yeah, I'm curious to see what the more, like, I guess, quote unquote studio series or Generations line versions of these toys will be.
Buzzworthy Bumblebee Rise of the Beast Studio Series.
Exactly. But yeah, so I'm still wondering, are they going to put all these toys out this year and not hold them back until next year? Or just, I guess you said, Jeremy, that they're probably going to just shove them into whatever existing lines we have, like you said, Cyberverse. So
yeah, I feel like they have to. I mean, they're in the pipeline. What are they going to do? They were planning to have these toys out at a specific time, and they plan years ahead,
right,
for that. So, I mean, thankfully they do have other lines. So it could go into Legacy. It could go into Buzzworthy Bumblebee. Insert your subline here. It could go into Studio Series. Like, as it gets closer to next year, it could be kind of preview molds in Studio Series. But the simplistic kids toys, like the younger kids toys, Cyberverse is probably the best line for that right now, and just keep that line going longer than they were planning on it going, and just throw these in.
Yeah. I'm also curious, like, I mean, this is off topic, but I'm curious if, is there going to be a toy line for Earthspark, the new Nickelodeon show? Because we haven't seen anything about that. Like, we haven't seen any hint of toys specific for that show. So
I don't see why they wouldn't do a line for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they'll probably spring it on us as a surprise, like have a surprise announcement.
Buzzworthy Bumblebee, Earthspark.
Yeah.
Whatever.
When you think about, sorry to jump in here, but you think about all the figures from, Cyberverse that never really got any kind of publicity or leak or anything like that, and just kind of showed up. You know, there's good chance they're in the pipeline right now.
Yeah.
And we have no idea because there's
been no leaks.
One, nobody gives a shit about them right now because nobody's thinking about them. And two, maybe they're in a different factory. Maybe they're, in a different country, that kind of thing.
Also, that Tigatron is weird. I mean, the Tiger mode is fine, but that gun mode is like, yeah, that's that. You said it, Jeremy. It looks painful for Tigatron.
Yeah. I got thoughts about that Tigatron.
Yeah, and DJ Ronan posted a picture here in the Discord with the Optimus Primal next to this. Is it the Studio Series Brawn? Or the Bumblebee movie one, and he's taller. Brawn comes up to his shoulder. I know that's a smaller figure in Brawn, but it's a decent size, probably deluxe sized Optimus Primal. So, Mike, what are your thoughts on these? Do you completely are you hating on Rise of the Beasts already just because you saw these figures?
No, certainly not. I'm not going to be that kind of fan. But, all right, so Primal does look good. I like the overall look of the figure as he's designed, and I hope that the more grown up version, like the Studio Series version, does have a similar look, because it does, the design really is appealing, and I really do enjoy seeing it. And I get that these are supposed to see. When I first saw these pictures, I thought the Prime, the actual Optimus Prime, was like a core class figure, and I'm just looking at something that was really tiny. But seeing that picture with him next to Brawn, I'm seeing Optimus Primal bigger than a deluxe, like a good, like head and shoulders above Brawn. And these are not tiny figures. I mean, I get that Brawn was a shorter figure, but still, these aren't small figures. And seeing the Optimus Prime, I'm kind of disappointed when compared to the Primal. Because when you look at the articulation on Primal, you can actually see some ball joints going on in there. And it looks like a fairly well-articulated figure, whereas Optimus Prime doesn't. These two figures don't have the same design aesthetic. And yeah, I get that they're different, they're different figures. One's a beast, one's a vehicle kind of thing. So they're going to have a different look. But just overall, the design aesthetic of these two figures are not similar. I would not say that these two are in the same line. I would not say they were the same size class. They almost have no, at least to my eyes, they have no real comparison to each other. So seeing that Prime next to the Primal, it's like, no, very, very easy pass. Primal looks good. Prime, not so much. As far as Tigatron goes, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it almost seems like the Prime is a core class that was upscaled.
Yeah.
One of those.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I mentioned my misadventures with upscaled Legends figures a while back, but this is what it reminds me of. It reminds me of that upscale Legend, that upscale Voyager Megatron, sized up from the Legends figure that I got. Just not appealing. But like I said, the Primal, like the Optimus Primal figure does look really, really nice. So I don't know what to make of these two. Like they feel just very, very separate.
Yeah.
As far as
what were you going to say about the Tigatron?
Yeah, as far as that Tigatron goes, so I'm going to give Hasbro props for having an animal target master like partner kind of thing. That's actually really kind of cool, and I hope they continue that into continue it more. They have it happen more. I like that. That being said, don't call it Tigatron, because Tigatron is a specific character, and you just made him turn into a gun. Give him like another partner. Give him like something else. Like they made up a bunch of names for like the Battle Masters that they came out with a while ago. Like Lionizer and Slitherfang and everyone. It's like, okay, you know what? Those are cool. I can appreciate them for what they are. I can't appreciate this because they're using the Tigatron name, designed him to look like Tigatron's animal mode, and they're using that look to say, hey, this is Tigatron. No, it's not. Tigatron was a character, an interesting character that I liked to see, and you turned him into a gun that has a tiger head. It's like, no, don't do that. Just call him something different. Just make him something different. Just don't. If you're going to make a Tigatron, make a Tigatron. If you're not, then don't.
or make it an orange tiger.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Or what was like DJ Rona just mentioned in the chat that the Tigatron had that cat gut gun. Yeah, just make it look like that. I'd be okay with that.
All right. Well, number one Beast Wars fan, Daryl. What are your thoughts on these figures?
Well, I'm not a huge fan, but that's not a surprise. I have a feeling that this entire Optimus, Primal, and Tigatron are all one set. That this is how all three pieces are going to come in one box, and it's going to be like maybe an Evolutions two pack with accessory or something like that. So, perhaps that's what's going to happen in the movie. Is that we've already heard that the movie is going to be a trilogy, and that Optimus at some point is going to, we know the movie takes place or is filmed in Peru. They did some shooting at Machu Picchu. I don't think there's going to be a way that they can shoot at Machu Picchu and not call it Machu Picchu. Yeah. So it's going to actually take place at Machu Picchu.
You don't go through all that red tape without using the name,
which, actually saying, yeah, we're at Machu Picchu. So Machu Picchu is, it's in a jungle. So I have a feeling that to get access to Machu Picchu, something along those lines, Prime is like, I'm a big fucking truck. I can't do this. There's no roads. Well, I'm going to scan a gorilla and, I'm going to go and become Primal so I can go to Machu Picchu or some shit like that. So, that's how I see this whole set working as far as the movie and the plot of the movie goes. I could be wrong. It's just, how I see the set. And
I would hope so. That makes me sad if it happens.
I hope I'm wrong. But as far as the toys go, they're kind of shitty. The design, like the Optimus is just, it's crap. I don't like it, but it's small and I don't expect anything that small to be any good. So I kind of give it a pass. The Primal it has potential because of all of the surface detailing. So you can see where they're kind of going with the look of Primal. And that's really what I'm looking at here. I'm not really looking at the Primal toy and thinking, okay, well, that could be a cool toy. I'm looking at what they're kind of doing with the Primal, and what they're making him look like. That's really what I'm kind of focusing on here. the Tigatron is bullshit. Like that's that's they're turning Tigatron into a gun. Okay,
Technically,
sure.
he's a crossbow,
Like,
I think.
Okay, so that's he's going to be a crossbow that shoots an energy weapon, right? So he's going to be a crossbow that's a gun. Like he's not going to shoot bolts, arrows or anything like that. So, but he literally could be anything. And I hear what you guys are saying, that this is a named character that everyone knows, and they're just kind of, they're shoehorning him in here. Yeah, I totally get that. It could be a Jetfire situation where, he comes across Primal, and, Primal is, you want to join our thing? Well, I can also be a weapon or something like that, or you can use my ability to do this. And I don't know, it's just my head kind of spinning as an idea here.
But he dies and Primal's like, well, better, use the body rather than leaving it.
Exactly. Something like that. Right. So as far as these toys go, they look like crap, but in my mind, it gives me hints as to where the movie's going.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of where I'm at.
Cool. Well, I mean, hopefully we don't get completely spoiled on the movie before it comes out, but yeah, I mean, these
we will. We will.
Yeah. But these give me hope for the movie aesthetic. Mike, what do you have this week?
Well, I have some new images of MP53 Plus. That is the Masterpiece Crosscut in package images. So depending on what site you are looking at, pre-orders are either scheduled to arrive this month or in July. I'm willing to bet it's going to be closer to July. But we're seeing our first shots of the box on here. So this guy should be dropping pretty soon. Well, pretty soon, relatively speaking. I'm not certain if I was on the show the last time we discussed the Crosscut figure. And I'll just kind of give my thoughts on Crosscut. I love his look. I absolutely love the look of this. It is a beautiful, beautiful looking figure, and I would love to get it. This one does come with that little scooter. Is that a little like scooter clutch? Clutch, I think. Yeah, I think it's called clutch or something like that. That came with the eHobby release back in the day. But yeah, so cool. I like it. How about you guys? We'll start with you, Charles. Did you intend on picking up Crosscut?
Probably not. I'm kind of out of the Masterpiece game these days, but I do appreciate that it's not just Crosscut, it's Senator Crosscut with no space.
Yeah.
It's I mean, okay, that's was the trademark for Crosscut taken in Japan for some reason? I don't know.
It was probably too generic for a trademark.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like that he's a Cybertronian high counselor. So I think Crosscut as a senator was only in the IDW comic. I don't think they he had a big backstory before that. So I think it's interesting they drew that for the Masterpiece release, and like to the point where he's Senator Crosscut, no space.
Senator Crosscut.
And and the figure does look good. I mean, I like the head mold with the face plate and everything, and I'm partial to face plates. The color scheme is nice, and it does come with the little scooter, so that's good. He get keep the accessory and everything. So yeah, I like the little shot. They have the shot of him with skids and the Diaclone version as well on the back. It's almost like the Dotson brothers. They got as much mileage out of this mold as they did out of the Dotson brothers. So
yeah, I was surprised.
It's a good mold. I do believe this is one of the more affordable Masterpiece figures. Like I think this is only like $70 or $80, whereas like
90,
most Masterpiece.
But yeah,
oh, okay. but yeah, most are like over 100 these days, like closer to 200. So
including like all the cars too. I remember the price for a Sunstreaker was what, like 180 or something like that.
yeah,
Almost 200. Yeah, the fact that he's affordable is really, really amazing, and one of the things that really appeals to me about him.
Cool.
How about you, Jeremy? You a big fan of Crosscut or a big fan of Senators?
More of a fan of Crosscut than Senators.
Okay, all right.
But I mean, I like the character in IDW. I like the color of this guy. I appreciate what they're doing with the mold from Skids and making it more like the actual vehicle in Japan, including the scooter and stuff. I think that's really cool. I'm also like Charles, kind of out of the Masterpiece game right now, and I probably wouldn't pick it up, but it is nice seeing another new affordable Masterpiece vehicle. This is like $80 in Robot Kingdom, $90 at BBTS. That's about where the Masterpiece cars need to be, and coming from the $400 that the last Optimus Prime was, or however much it was, this is much more where I like to see the Masterpiece stuff. So people that are fans of the character and fans of the mold, they're going to be happy with it.
Excellent. And Daryl?
Well, I am still looking for Masterpiece Skids. That's the one I want out of this mold. And it looks like a great figure. And I'm looking forward to getting Skids. The Honda is the Honda City, I think is what it's called. Yeah, it's a great little car. I wish the Skids came with the little scooter. That would be awesome, but I get why it doesn't. It's a great looking mold, and I really applaud the price. You know, this is like Jeremy said, this is exactly where it needs to be. I hope that they continue with getting some of those G1 cars back down to this price point. Other than that, I think everything else has been said. It's a great little figure.
Excellent. Yeah, like I said, so coming out probably in the next couple of months or so, June or July, give or take, and we'll see what it looks like once we got it in hand. So that being said, Charles, why don't you take us home?
All right. Well, my fondness for non-transforming Transformer statues, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we have Diamond Selects doing some officially licensed Transformer statues, and these were dropped in a publicity article from IGN. So IGN, the big video game website, they've been partnering with Hasbro and doing basically, I mean, they appear to be, I don't know if they're paid advertisements, but they're pretty much advertisements for Hasbro they get exclusive drops now and then when they announce new toys. And here we've got this Transformers the movie Galvatron statue, and this is it's a $300 statue. Apparently, there's only going to be 1,000 made. So if you really want this, you should probably look into it very soon. In addition to that, we've also got these mini mates, the set of little collectible minifigures, and that's 4 little figures: RC, Jazz, Starscream, Coronation Kid Starscream, I should say, and Galvatron. So these 4 figures, and that set will only run you $30, so that's a little bit more reasonable. But they also don't transform, so but the Galvatron statue, I mean, it's a very iconic design. It looks, I think it looks really nice. there is a little bit of I would say like looks kind of like artificial wear on it. Like it's not like, you know, he's got just a little bit of, you know, paint flaking off to, I guess, to show his wear and tear battle damage things. And, you know, I'm not a fan of that, but I think overall the design of the statue is nice. If you're into statues, maybe it's something to consider. Although, as I said, it's $300, so that's kind of a lot. But I guess it is, you know, they're playing up the artificial scarcity where they're only making 1,000. So I guess you own a very special one if you got that. But the minifigures are a little bit more affordable, I guess, and also something where you can put on your desk. And I think this is maybe the second set of these mini mates figures that they've put out. So third. Okay, there you go. So Daryl, what do you think of these two items here?
Well, it's these mini mates, the little 4-pack here are kind of neat. And, you know, if they were cheaper, I'd probably pick some of them up. They're just, you know, for $30 US, that's way out of my price range at this point for something that doesn't transform and is kind of, you know, just small and will just kind of sit on a shelf or not even get opened ever. So, you know, it's just something I can easily avoid. The statue, I kind of like the look of it. It captures that Galvatron look. I don't know. The legs seem to I have an issue with the legs. I don't know. They're just too thin at the knee, I guess, is if I'm going to be critical of something. Other than that, I really don't have too much of a problem with it. I expect a Diamond Selects figure to have, you know, really good detailing. And even though we kind of shit on Hasbro for giving the artificial, you know, damage, I expected, you know, if I were to come across a real Galvatron, I don't expect him to be, you know, pristine. I expect him to be, you know, damaged through battle and that kind of stuff. You know, our figures and the stuff like that, I expect to look, you know, really good because you're brand new. But, you know, something like this is supposed to be indicative of a life as a tyrant and just kind of, you know, somebody who's kind of crazy, because we all know Galvatron's a little nuts and, you know, he's going to have some wear and tear and some, you know, some damage on him. So, you know, I do kind of appreciate the fact that they've got some scratches on him and some damage here and some wear there. I like the fact that his arm cannon is translucent. At least it appears to be translucent. And it looks good. It's not $300 good for me anyway. So, you know, I'm fine with getting, you know, transforming figures of Galvatron. You know, if there was a masterpiece version of him, you know, through third party that I could attain, because all of them seem to be, you know, snapped up pretty quickly, then I'd probably pick one of those up. But some of those, like the ones, I think Fans Toys did one, and there might be another one out there. But yeah, other than that, like they're all really hard to get, and they go up quite high in value. But other than that, I think it looks okay.
All right. Mike, what do you think of this statue and the Mini Mates figures?
I'll echo a lot of what Daryl just said. I do really like the look of this statue.
Mike, you're on mute if you're talking.
No, I'm not. I'll echo a lot of what Daryl just said. I really do like the look of the statue, but like you just said there, Daryl, it's not $300 good. The translucent gun is the only thing I really disagree with you on. Unless that's supposed to be light up for some reason, I am not a fan of that translucent gun barrel. Like, why? Why is that there? I hope it does light up, because that would actually be a really neat little feature. But no, the transparency, it's a pass. I mean, I can nitpick this thing to death, like little small details here and there, but I mean, in the end, it's a really good looking statue, and I wouldn't mind owning it, but not going to drop that much money on a statue. You know, I'm not like Charles or anything. I don't got that kind of money to drop. So, plus, I'm not a huge statue fan like Charles is.
Lots of slander going on around here.
Isn't it libel?
No, libel's in print. Slander is when you're speaking.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you're right then. Slander it is.
We'll have to wait for the transcript, and then it'll be both.
Yeah, but I didn't write the transcript, so I don't think that can come back to me. Anyway, the mini mates, it's just a pass for me. I mean, if I'm going to drop a lot of money on a statue thing that looks really good, I'll drop it on an actual statue, not little tiny like mini statues that don't look as good. And you know, like I work from home, so I don't need something on my desk because I got plenty of things around me to play with. So yeah, the mini mates are it's a fun thing though. Like if it's a fun little thing for people to put on like work desks and stuff, and that is kind of cool. It's just not for me. Yeah.
All right. Okay, Jeremy, Mike hates these, so what do you think?
Well, I don't really like the mini mates. I don't like the style of them at all. Never really have. So, you know, there are people that do, and you know, more power to them. But it's just they're not for me. The statue I think looks pretty good, but I have to disagree with Daryl in the scuff marks and stuff. I think this is advertised as Transformers the movie Galvatron, who is brand new at the time. He shouldn't have scuffs. If he's Five Faces of Darkness Galvatron after he's been in the lava and goes crazy, then yeah, give him some wear and tear. But I think, you know, I know why they did it to make it kind of look a little bit more dynamic, but Transformers the movie Galvatron is brand new. He should be pristine. But
I mean, it could be Galvatron after he got thrown out of Unicron. I mean, after, you know, Hot Rod kicked his ass.
Sure, whatever.
That's a very short time frame there, Daryl.
So Rodimus Prime throws Galvatron out of Unicron. He's floating through space. He finds a rock to stand on and pose menacingly. Then he trips and keeps flying and then lands on Char and falls into that lava pit.
Yeah. I mean, he's crazy.
He's not crazy until he's in the lava, but whatever. Anyway, I mean, I'm not a big statue guy. I'm not going to drop $300 on this when there are many other things I could drop $300 on that are much more important or frivolous, but just give me more joy than a statue. But it does look good. The way the statue looks is fine. Even the way they have the scuff marks and stuff, it looks fine. I just have an issue with it being labeled Transformers the movie Galvatron and not being pristine. But I'm weird and I'm not going to buy it anyway.
All right, and that is all our toy topics. So we will move on to trips to the store. This is where we show off all the cool Transformer stuff we got this week. We do this as a video so you can see everything we got in beautiful high definition on YouTube. And we'll have the audio right here in the podcast so you can keep listening as we describe everything we got in loving detail. So without further ado, trips to the store.
The Transmissions Podcast will return after these messages.
All right, let's get into the stuff we got this week. I'm going to go first because I don't really have a lot of stuff. I just have a comic, Beast Wars number 13. We reviewed it last week on the podcast on alt mode. Yeah, this was a fun issue and a nice one shot. It's, you know, in the comics business these days, it's rare you get a single issue story that wraps up in that single issue. So always refreshing to see that. And this one was focused on Cheetor, and we got to see a glimpse of his life back on Cybertron before Beast Wars. So that's always cool. So, and this is the Sid Van Blue cover A. And Sid Van Blue was the colorist on the issue, and they got to do the comic cover, which is cool.
It's awesome.
All right, Daryl, you're up next. What do you got?
Okay, well, I didn't really have anything to talk about today until I went out to the dollar store earlier today and picked up some, bullshit knockoff stuff. And I tweeted it out because I thought this thing is kind of interesting and doesn't really have a, an actual Transformers counterpart. So I don't really know what to call it, but it is the Montoy train combiner. It is made up of 3 trains, and they are all identical as far as their transformations go. The fronts of the trains are all kind of a little bit different, but that's mainly the entire difference from that you'd get. And then they transform and they combine into this kind of larger dude. This entire set cost me just under $12 Canadian, and I gotta say, as far as knockoffs go, the joints are actually really good. It holds together really well, and it's not too bad. The plastic quality is utter shit, but that's to be expected. And it's probably pretty good if somebody wanted to like get something to kind of customize or whatnot. But I the individual robots are kind of crap. These the little wheels here, these are the arms of the individual robots. But I'm pretty impressed with the quality of this thing. I don't know if it actually existed outside of the knockoff or the Montoy version. That's the company who kind of produces all this stuff for the dollar store. And it's kind of an interesting, just a 3-part combiner. I've got train bot fever at this point, and everything I get right now has got to have a train bot component. So figured I'd pick up these guys. They're fairly cheap, and put them together and see how they look. So yeah, just pick this thing up, and it's kind of fun. It'll hold me over for a little while.
Do you have Rail Racer from RID 2001?
Oh yeah, of course. He's pretty awesome. He's way awesomer than this guy.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It is a neat figure, though.
All right.
I do love the knockoffs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, banging him around like this and nothing. Like, he's still, I mean, his arms haven't even moved. He's that tight. So, yeah. Yeah, I'm happy with the quality. You
set the bar low enough, and there you go.
it was pretty fucking low. So so yeah.
He's toy
Yeah.
like
and
a tiger.
the only accessory that it came with out of all 3 of them was one of the figures came with the head that you slide on to combine mode. That's the only accessory. He could actually hold a weapon, like there are holes in the hands and such, so you could put a weapon in there, but none of them come with a sword or a gun or anything like that. That's it. That's all I got.
All right, Jeremy, we're going to go to you next.
All right. Well, first thing I have is not a Transformers thing, but it is a transmissions thing, because as the person that designed a lot of the art and stuff we use, I went and made a custom case for my new AirPod Pro, and I want to show that off. This is from, I can't remember the name of the company. It was one of those companies where you can upload graphics, and within like 4 or 5 days, I had this in hand. And
wow,
it's
nice.
2 pieces. The top piece is separate, but it's holding on really good. The wireless charging works, so I'm pretty happy with it. It came with a really good quality carabiner. Like, not one of those cheap ones that you would normally expect to get with something like this. So it's currently on my keychain. What I wanted to show off was some older toys. I didn't have anything new to show off. And it found a couple big chunky guys that I was going to put up on my shelf. So I'm going to show them off. The first one is Armada Megatron. This guy, I mean, he has some definite weight to him. He's a really chunky figure, but really good, really iconic. These are still kind of soft. I think they were a little bit more soft back in the day, the little headpieces, but he's still looking really good for 20 years old now or thereabouts. So, one of the things I really liked about the Armada figures was the molded faction logos. I always thought that was really cool.
Those are nice.
Yeah, I'm going to find the place on the shelf. He's got all 3 missiles. His Minicon is probably still in the bin I pulled him from. I didn't go hunting for the Minicons. But yeah, he's great. All the springs work. So I never really liked the series, but the toys for Armada were always great. Next thing I have is, this is my God Jinrai re-release of Power Master Prime. I left the God Jinrai pieces in the bin. I kind of prefer the Power Master Prime look. So this is the re-release with the darker gray. And I don't know, I've always liked this figure. And since my original G1 Power Master Prime is all busted up from years of playing, this guy's going to go on my shelf soon. And I think one of the differences between this one and the US release was the front of the cab is actually metal, and it's a really nice paint job on him. So,
and the chrome,
and the chrome, nice and shiny. I mean, it's great. So I'm gonna have this up without the power, or without the God Jinrai and God Bomber, all those pieces. I just want them as the US version. So
you can put those together as God Bomber and put them beside him.
I could. Probably not going to. I could. Anyway, that's all I got this week.
All right, and we come to Mike, bringing up the coveted anchor position for trips to the store.
It's who it belongs to. That's right. Well, I got a couple things to show off. That was some stuff that was given to me. Not exactly the newest stuff in the world, but a lot of it is still actually in box, and that's kind of interesting. So, first thing is the Bumblebee figure from the old the Titanium line, the little small one with the little stand and everything to it. So these were kind of interesting figures. I actually never picked up any of the small ones. I have a couple of the Titanium transforming ones, like the deluxe sized figures. But I've never had any of the little small guys. I'm sorry, a small exception. I did pick up the Titanium Arc. That was an interesting little piece. But this is like the first actual figure that I ended up getting. So that's interesting. Going in that same vein, I have the Bumblebee and Soundwave 2-pack from the Robot Heroes line. They're kind of chibi-fied, very cutesy kind of figures. Every single figure is squatting in some weird way, but, whatever. So that's cool. That's still in package. That's neat. And I have Slumblebee. I forget when this thing came out, but it has been a while, and I don't generally see them much anymore. It's the little transforming Bumblebee plushie that came out way back in the day, so it's kind of neat. I haven't tried to
it transforms.
It does, yeah. You can kind of see this like little like gap along his back over here, and you actually
it's a popple.
Yep. So you open it up and you turn it inside out, and he turns into a car. I think they
Nice.
did a Prime as well, if I recall correctly. But yeah, so
that's definitely a faux chest.
yes, definitely a faux chest. But yeah, pretty much you just you open him up and flip him inside out, and he turns into his little car form, and that's adorable. And the last thing that I got was Legends Windblade. I
Ooh.
believe this was the Iron Factory release from back in the day.
I have that
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
You do, huh? Yep.
Yeah.
One of the few like Legends size things that I have. So this is, I think, the second one, and I believe it's the Scorponok figure, Lord Scorpion. I think is the other one that I got. But yeah, the second Legends size little figure that I got, and I absolutely adore this little figure. I don't need to tell you that, Charles, because you know how awesome it is. Great articulation, pretty good detail for it too. Considering this was like one of the first like Legends like things that started coming out, and this was like many years ago. So yeah, the Legends market has certainly come quite a ways in those last few years. But yeah, that's what I got. A couple of smaller Bumblebee things, Slumblebee, and a Legends Windblade. Yeah.
Very cool.
Nice little eclectic mix of merchandise there.
We now return to the Transmissions Podcast.
We're back from our trips to the store, and we will finish up the show with feedback. We got a good bit of feedback this week. First up, we've got a voicemail from John 4X11good. We had the show ran long last week, so we didn't get to this one, but we've still got it this week. So let's roll that tape.
Hey guys, John 4X11good here again. First of all, yes, I have heard the living good joke for about my last name before. Second, my dad's joke for our last name is we're good 11 times, and that's it. And finally, the reason for the call, responding to your guys' request for a voicemail, that what I know the Transformers have transformed into dang near everything that's out there, but there are some things they still haven't yet. And is there anything you would like to see turned into a Transformer? Me personally, what I would like to see is I drive double trailer semis. I would like to see a double trailer semi Transformer as an example. So what would you guys like to see? We'll catch you next time. Bye.
Well, that's a fun question. I'm going to go to the toy guy first. Daryl, anything you'd like to see transform that maybe we haven't seen before or is relatively rare?
Freaking knew you were going to come to me first. So I like John's idea, and I remember when when I first heard his the voicemail when it came in, I started thinking like, okay, well, the truck part of it could be, that's pretty standard. We could get anything out of that, but then you could have like each trailer could be like a separate character, and then you basically could have like a 3-character combiner out of one alt mode, and I thought that would really be cool. And then that reminded me of my time in Australia where they had road trains, and these things were, because there's so much empty space out in the outback of Australia, that they'd have these trucks that would carry that would pull like 6 trailers, and they'd literally just call them road trains because they'd be humongous, and if you were going to try and pass one, you had to be an utter crazy person to try and pass one of these things, because they just they were so big. So that would be a crazy one to kind of see. Now for me, the inception of BotBots has really really taken some of these crazy alt modes off the table because they exist now. You could say, well, turn into fruit. Okay, well, that all exists, right? Turn into like
baseball bat.
I don't know, baseball bat or
a camera.
Yeah, all that stuff. It all exists now through BotBots. For me, it's, I don't know. Like I've always been very partial to cars and trucks and that kind of stuff turning, being Transformers. But maybe something along the lines of like, do a better boat figures, because they have turned into boats before, but if you look at the ones that turn into boats, they're kind of shitty. Like, there's really only a handful of them, and some of the best ones out there might be like, G1 Sea Spray's pretty good, for what he is. And then you've got crap, what's that one from like Armada or something like that? I can't think of him right now.
I mean, there's Tidal Wave, who is like massive.
I mean, he's huge, but is he really a good figure? Like, right. He's just massive.
But I mean, that's a good point though, because there hasn't been like a good speedboat or something like that.
Right. Like there are boat, Transformers, but really there aren't any really good ones. So, maybe do a better boat one. Like, we've got shit tons of jets and we've got shit tons of cars and trucks and, that kind of stuff, but do some better boats or submarines or something like that. Like, we did 6-Shot. Yes. Okay. 6-Shot's a submarine now. Right. But is he a good one? No. So that would be my idea.
Cool. Mike, any ideas for you?
Well, I think we need a Transformer that really kind of, it should speak to the state of the world today. So I think maybe it should turn into an existential sense of dread. Or
what does that look like?
Well, that's the thing. It's different for everyone now, isn't it? In a more practical sense, I would love to get my self-confidence back. So, turns into that.
Oh, wow. So you're looking for something made out of Transformium.
He's looking for something that'll just turn into a gray cloud that can float over his head.
A Transformers mood ring?
But in a serious answer, I think we should go with a bus. Because we haven't had I don't think we've ever had a bus released in mainline. Or actually in any.
A bus is a good answer. That's a really good one.
Yeah. There was
Stole my answer, Mike.
Ah, yes. There was like a third party like knockoff thing that was released, but it's not very good. And primarily, I'm answering this way just because I want a character of like Bussitron from Empire of Rust. So
And there's so many different ways you can go with the bus. You have the school bus. You have like a regular commuter bus, but then you have the ones that are like double sized and have the little flexible thing in the middle.
The accordion thing, yep. The double decker bus from UK.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was really a combiner team where one of them is stuck in the UK.
Yep. That's it's really a great idea. I think it could actually really work. And I'm honestly very surprised, considering the range they could have done, that they haven't. Like, Hasbro hasn't done one so far. So Hasbro, if you're listening, give us a bus Transformer. I think we'd all enjoy it.
All right, Jeremy, what are your ideas?
Well, I mean, besides the obvious kit from Knight Rider that we still haven't gotten,
give it time.
I would like to see, like, in the past we've had, I think there were official Takara releases of like the ones that like Megatron turned into a PlayStation or a Genesis or something, and Optimus was the other. They turned into
and Mega Drive.
Yeah. So along that line, I would like to see a line of like classic computers like the Apple II, the Commodore 64, just some of those iconic classic computers that would turn into some character. And, you know, we see a lot of things like the camera, microscope, tape player, things like that. But how about just like an actual, you know, computer looking thing that, you know, would fit in the 80s? I think that would be a lot of fun.
Maybe one of those brick cell phones from the 80s.
Oh, yeah. One of those Motorola. Yeah.
Yep.
Man, I carried one of those in high school and I was the coolest.
I didn't. I still wasn't the coolest.
Yeah, I totally was not the coolest. But.
All right. Well, Mike stole my answer, so I had to come up with something else on the spot here. Maybe a book. How about a book transformer? I guess maybe we have that in bots already. And like where the pages open and you can turn them or something like that. I don't know.
Charles, did you just look on your desk and see a book?
How about a glass of water transformer?
Lamp. Pen.
Microphone stand transformer. Yeah.
Can of
I love
Coke.
lamp.
Well, John, I hope you're happy with the other three guys' answers because mine is I don't have anything good for you, but I think Daryl, Mike, and Jeremy stepped up. So
Well, I mean, Mike
you
had your
enjoyed
answer.
It's questions like this that you don't save yourself for last.
Yeah, you just go first. Yep. Remember that for I'll remember that for next time. Okay. Next, we've got a question from Twitter, and this is from friend of the show and Donatron Robinus Prime. And they're asking, they said, I love the speculating about toys and I'd love the speculating about toys and look in trips to the store. Sometimes there are toys, but what about if you did use Patreon money to buy a figure every month, group review it, then give it away to Patreons at a certain level? Could be a new Patreon tier just for it. So that definitely sounds like a fun idea, Robin. But I think it's a lot of the logistics are a little bit difficult for us. I mean, if we group review it, do we have to pass it around to everyone? So we got to ship it across the continent so everyone gets a chance to touch it. And then when we give it away, are people fine with a slightly used toy? I think if we all lived like closer to each other and did the podcast in person live, we might be able to do something like this. But currently, I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on this?
I think you've just solved your own problem. You guys all got to move to Canada.
Or Pittsburgh.
I'm not hearing a no to the Canada comment.
We got to move to London and specifically.
Exactly.
Or close enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty awesome here. You know, we got schools and you know, universities and stuff like that, and like roads and cars and stuff.
You got a comic store.
We do.
The biggest comic store in Canada, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. You know, I don't know whether they've they had you know, any kind of like vote or contest with that, you know, in the last like 5 years or so, but it definitely won that about 5 years ago or so.
They didn't pay for the title.
No.
Well,
All
with
right.
Daryl
Well,
working there, who knows?
yeah. So, Robin, we've still got some other things to give away, so we'll think of some new contests to come up with. But yeah, I think this is probably not going to happen anytime soon. Sorry about that.
Oh, look at that.
Okay. Last but
Robinus Prime gives us feedback, and you just shut it down.
hey, if we respond to the feedback, I didn't say the response would always be yes.
I mean, I'm up for the idea of using Patreon money to buy toys for me,
But the
and
rest
then
of
I
us
give something away later.
I think we've been very good about not using the funds to buy stuff for us.
Exactly, we have, to the point that we need to give more shit away.
Yeah. Well, and also to the point where like we need to buy something and I end up just buying it with my own money and not asking for reimbursement because I feel guilty.
Yeah, you need to do better at that.
As I look around at all the podcasting stuff I have here.
All right. Our last bit of feedback comes from our Discord server. So TFG1 Mike, and you might remember him. We mentioned him at the beginning of the show because Daryl was just on his podcast on all things Transformers on the Geekcast Radio Network. That's at geekcast.com or geekcastradio.com. Sorry, geekcastradio.com. So Mike and Mike's been not the Mike on the show here, TFG1 Mike.
A different Mike. This is Snazzy Mike. That's
different.
TFG1 Mike.
Yes. And he's joined our Discord recently and has been contributing a bit and having fun. And he's sending us a little bit of feedback. He says, just listening to the last episode. So I've just listened to the latest episode 477. I'm in complete agreement with you, Charles. NFTs are bad. It hurts my heart as a Funko fan because I have been a Funko fan since late 2016 that they are even doing this. The fact that I can only get a Hot Rod Funko Pop through this crap is crazy. I almost want to not buy anything Funko anymore, as well as Hasbro, for even allowing them to do it. Of course, I'm writing this as I'm listening to the podcast, so I haven't finished hearing Dr. Pants and Daryl's thoughts. Spoiler, they had to say they did not have any more positive thoughts about NFTs than I did. Here's hoping for the secondary market, even though I know it's going to be crazy prices for that will actually have the physical pops. Great episode as always. Also, earlier in the episode, before the Funko segment, Dr. Pants said something, and my first thought was, wow, he's dipping into the Electrum really hard. I don't know what Dr. Pants said that made you think that. But yeah, NFTs bad. Jeremy, Mike, you weren't on the show last week, but
I was so mad that I wasn't on the show last week to talk about this.
Yeah, I can't imagine you guys had different opinions about NFTs.
NFTs are so fucking horrible. Just go away from them. It's such a scam. The only people that are going to make money off of NFTs are the people that got in early and are just living off of all the people that are just suckers and getting in on it late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same, honestly. I will say that Funko doing this is certainly an interesting way of approaching an NFT. And I mean, I hate to give them any credit at all, but I think this is a better way to do NFTs than just the stupid, just like, hey, here's a friggin' image and it's $50,000. Like, no, this is just bullshit. I still think they're a scam. It's still stupid. Don't buy this crap. It's not, we're not the target market for this. This is effectively like rich people just buying and investing in art to sell to other rich people for art. That's all it is. We're not the target market for this. So,
yeah. But I mean, sadly though, it's like rich people buying art and then selling copies, like photocopies of the art to regular people like us in order to help make them even richer.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, we're not the target market for this. This is not meant. it's not meant for us because it's a money-making scheme. That's all it is. And well, I know I don't know about you guys, but I certainly don't have the thousands of dollars to participate in this kind of market.
Yeah. I have 2 NFTs that I got for free from DC Fandom, the first one that they did. And as far as I know, there's no way to view it other than the website that I got it from, like the DC Fandom site. And it's so pointless. I'm like, what do I do with this? I don't want to go to your site to see this like animated GIF. It's so dumb. It's incredibly dumb.
Sell it for $500,000.
There's no way to sell it or transfer for this one. It's so dumb. It's so dumb. It got my like one F-bomb of the year.
So, so you can't like transfer it to like a crypto like wallet or anything.
No, the fandom one, they say it's coming. They've been saying it's coming for over a year. So right now you have to go to the fandom website to do it.
If you can't actually transfer it or sell it or do anything to it, is it really an NFT?
It's completely non-fungible.
I mean, it's like I gave you $1, but you can't use this dollar for anything. Like it's not legal tender anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's not $1 then.
Yeah. If you want to buy,
you're just describing regular Bitcoin now,
right? If you want to buy, Transformers related art or anything that's not like a toy and stuff, commission an artist to make you something that is a unique, one of a kind physical thing that you have, and they will be happy, you will be happy, and you won't have wasted your money. If you ever needed to sell it for whatever reason, you're able to do that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I'll say the only thing that I would say after the fact about this is that, we talked about this last week before it actually, launched, and it has since launched, and they are now sold out. So,
of course they are.
Oh.
With the, it's Transformers fandom, going after this and being so adamant about, avoiding this and how shitty it is. It didn't seem to do anything to deter the popularity of it.
Oh, I mean, the Funko fandom is so much bigger.
Yeah, it is. Plus you have NFT fandom as well.
By the way, I would like to announce that we're going to start putting out our podcast as NFTs.
I think we should put our podcast out as Funko Pops.
There you go. Just slip little USB sticks inside boxes randomly.
Yeah.
The fact that it's sold out, I also kind of hate the idea that they're just creating this artificial scarcity. It's an image. It's not going to sell out. That's all it is. You can't say, "Oh, hey, we've only made 40,000 of this picture." It's like, no, that's just factually not true.
Oh, so terrible. But what's not terrible is the Geekcast Radio Network. So check out TFG1 Mike on geekcastradio.net.
It's not this mic, a different mic.
.com, sorry.
Equally snazzy.
TFG1 Mike. TFG1 Mike on I keep getting this wrong. TFG1 Mike on the Geekcast Radio Network, geekcastradio.com. Check it out.
What's the website again?
Geekcastradio.com.
I don't know why you rose to that. There was no point.
Geekcastradio.com. You can edit that out. All right. And that will do it for this episode of Transmissions. Thanks, everyone, for listening. And As always, at the end of every show, we give a shout out to our masterpiece donatrons. So thank you again to John Forex Levengood, Down by Maximize, Demon Tech 82, and Curtis Akan. You guys are awesome. Thank you for continuing to support transmissions at our highest level. So that's it, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, all.
Later.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Transmissions. If you'd like to join the conversation, travel to our Discord channel at transmissionspodcast.com/Discord. Want some cool transmission swag? Feast your eyes on our transmissions gear at transmissionspodcast.com/shop. If you'd like to support our podcast, go to transmissionspodcast.com/support or tell your friends about our show. We'll see you next time.